Now we have a joint presentation, and I'm really excited about this one. We have the head of Mashreq Gold and executive vice president of Mashreq Bank, and he's first joined by the business consultant banking from Comarch. So let me talk first to you about Mufazzal Kajiji. He's responsible for Mashreq's gold value proposition, overall finance performance, and further enhancing customer experience and service quality. He also oversees Mashreq Gold's investment mortgage and insurance product segments, as well as its team of investment advisors. And Manikandan Ramasamy is a business consultant at Comarch, handling wealth management and lending origins platforms. With over 10 plus years of professional experience, his areas of expertise includes business professional definition, digital advisory, product management, and digital business strategy. And together, they will now present their views and experience on wealth management in this advanced digital era. So please welcome with me Manikandan Ramasamy for the Diamond Sponsor Address. Welcome to the stage.
Good morning, everyone. I welcome all of you once again on behalf of Comarch and Mashreq Bank to this event. We would like to start with a short introduction about ourselves. Comarch is a global software solution provider delivering innovative IT products and services across multiple industry sectors. We have our headquarters based out of Poland, and we have been in the market for more than 28 years. We have more than 57 subsidiaries worldwide in 34 countries, most of these comprising of R&D and delivery centers. Comarch has also been widely recognized by industry leaders such as Gartner, Forrester Research, IDC, and more. We have successfully implemented multiple strategic initiatives with a number of key players in the Middle East and Africa region, with a local presence of close to 20 years. When it comes to wealth management, the topic of interest to us today, we have partnered with multiple banks and financial institutions across the world and in the Middle East region to work towards their digital transformation journeys. Now let us look at how much wealth management has transformed over the last few years, and more specifically in this post-pandemic times. To start with, we see digital wealth managers as a primary trend in wealth management space. There has been a lot of talk about succession planning and huge wealth transition between generations. In addition to this, the increase in demand from non-traditional and digitally savvy investors has led to the need for digital wealth managers. We believe that robo-advisory solutions or platforms could be a solution to cater to these needs. However, there are specific segment of customers who still prefer a personalized advice when it comes to their investment decisions. So this has led to the combination of personalized advice by RMs at one end and the scalability and flexibility offered by digital solutions in the other end, giving rise to the new advice delivery model of the future, which we see it as hybrid or omnichannel advisory. If you look at Comarch's capabilities in this area, our core competence and state-of-the-art robo-advisory platform is dedicated to our customers and the digital platform for relationship managers, our advisors, which will assist them in digitally interacting with the clients and offer them hybrid or digital advice. Globalization has opened up multiple investment opportunities in global financial markets. We can see that customers' interest is growing in this area, and it also helps with portfolio diversification for the banks. So banks are building a digital strategy to offer this investment opportunity as a commodity to the customers of the bank. Alongside globalization of portfolios, There are also new areas for the banks to explore, such as ETFs, digital assets, sustainable and socially responsible investments, etc. Wealth solutions of the bank in future should be able to cater to this diverse range of risk asset classes. At Comarch, we have been continuously upgrading ourselves to keep up with the rising asset classes and alternative investment choices. With the capability of direct market access to international markets, due to these two trends, the first two trends that we've seen, we can see an even more pressing need for the banks to invest in technology to digitize their wealth management platforms. New technologies such as artificial intelligence and blockchain are being explored in a wide range of use cases, starting from content personalization or improvement of client engagement. APIs, though it is not a new trend anymore, have to be leveraged to offer personalized services to the customers and connect directly to the market platforms to streamline the back office operations. In the recent years, we see a growing trend in digitized investment intelligence that goes beyond the traditional research desk. In Comarch, we have the USP of our product, which is AI in product ranking or artificial intelligence in product ranking. It helps the clients and the advisors in picking up right investment decisions at the right time, or just simply build the most optimal product portfolio for the customers of the bank. Digital customer onboarding to banks has become a common expectation from the customers, mostly in these post-pandemic times. However, we see that the challenge lies in extending these digital onboarding capabilities to investment risk profiling, advisory generation, and investing in a single bundled product or bundled journey to the customers. Personalization is one area which can be achieved only by offering personalized services at every touch point of the customer experience, rather than simply a digital onboarding experience or just a robo-advisory platform. We believe in order to meet this personalization, content could be a main differentiator, and as the high net worth individuals and institutional clients of the banks are continuously looking for personalized insights and information that will help them with their investment choices. At Comarch, we meet the exact need of a digital onboarding process by offering an end-to-end STP journey to the customers and to the banks. In order to achieve personalization, we offer personalized ideas and investment advices, matching the customer's risk profile and investment strategy to the customers across multiple channels. This will also help the bank in achieving omni-channel experience to the customers. As we discussed much in the first point, due to the increase in demand from personalized advice, we can also see there is a need for advisor productivity to go up. So the future advisor should have a streamlined way of working in order to have their tasks, day-to-day tasks optimized, where they can receive ideas about new business generation or get suggestions on the most profitable customers through intelligent automation. Finally, data presentation is a topic that is being ignored in most of the strategic initiatives that we have worked with. But at Comarch, we believe that data presentation is one of the strongest areas that could be focused in order to provide a client centricity to the customers. The advisor channel, which is dedicated to the relationship managers and the advisors of the bank, it's a digital platform through which the advisors can handle the end-to-end relationship, life cycle of a client's relationship, starting from client management up to understanding the client's investment needs, risk profile, all to come up with the most optimal product portfolio to the customers. One of such strategic initiatives in this area of data presentation and client centricity for us was partnering with Mashreq Bank in working towards their digital transformation journey in wealth. Key challenge there was to build a centralized and reliable data repository which will serve as a single source of truth for the bank's relationship managers and lay the foundation for best-in-class investment reporting. By having all that in place, highly informed and high-quality wealth services can be offered to the customers of the bank. With that thought, I would like to request Mr. Mufazzal Kajiji, Executive Vice President and Head of Mashreq Gold, to share his insights and experience in this area. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Am I audible? Yeah. So thank you for giving me the opportunity, and Comarch in particular, to share some thoughts. My presentation is not going to be exciting in any ways. It is the boring, age-old, talk about wealth management. So I'm just going to spend 10 minutes and maybe just share some thoughts, some experiences that we have been having in what we call as the new digital era. I really don't even want to call it the new digital era. Let me just see if this is, yeah. Digital is something that we've been going through for years now. And it is evolving, innovating, and that's something that is kind of embedded, and it should be in DNAs of all of us as professionals in any industry that we are in. But with that, what I would like to just briefly cover is just talk about a little bit on the strategy that we've been sort of following, or at least hope to follow some direction on that. Sorry. Yeah, thank you. How is adoption of technology kind of been interpreting, how we at Mashreq are taking that forward and looking at adopting various technologies that we put in place, particularly with the wealth management, landscape. The challenges that we faced during COVID and how we try to manage in that situation and some learnings from there. And then a little bit on what we think is going to be transforming this space in the coming few years. And I'm not going to be too futuristic here. This is more to do with how things are evolving as we speak. It's good to sort of sometimes just kind of put a number, around it. There's tons of data. Really, where we stand right now from a wealth management standpoint, and there's lots of reports giving lots of numbers, but generally, this is a growing space, right? It's about 9%, based on the BRC report, but I would really put it as this is a constantly growing. Now, there are many reasons for this as well. It could be the inflation. It could also be the money supply that we actually see increasing, and there's tons of news around that. So therefore, it's bound to increase. The number is not as important as the constant growth that's happening in this space. What did we face, and how is this future getting reshaped? I think one is that this is a fiercely contested landscape. We all know that. It is highly competitive. It's a tough environment to operate in. There are changing business models. There is fintech that's coming in. There's we all talk about the fintech disruption, but it's across, all, layers of the financial markets, if you'd like to call that. The increasing client expectations. There is an information flow, and there is kind of an overload of information flow. Particularly in the wealth management space, we see it even more. Clients want to react. Clients, get to know of news. It's there all over, right from your mobile devices that we hold to any other forms of media and technology that exists. There is obviously all of this leading to even fee compression. There are more competitors, there's more ease of access, and hence you are going to see that happen as we move along. There is also the service delivery and client coverage. Then the models are changing. We're talking about high tech, high touch. There is much more interaction, digital or non-digital, in the space. The advisor enablement is very, very key. It is still a relationship-driven business model. While we are evolving and there is talk about robo-advisory and a non-sort of human intervention kind of managing of wealth, but there is still a relationship base, and I believe that in the near future, that isn't going to change. The key is going to be how do we enable the intermediary, which is in this case could be a relationship manager or any other form, to use the digital tools or get assisted by digital tools and hence help and make that interaction much more efficient. Analytics is another piece, and it's there across in the whole banking world. We talk about it. It's predominantly, when we talk about analytics, we're looking at the lower and mass market kind of segments where there's a lot of data that's available and how we utilize that. But I think it also makes sense when we start moving up the chain and we look at, in the high net worth space, how do we use analytics to get the advisors more information, more real time, so that their interaction is much more fulfilling with the client. If we looked at the adoption, and this is, I think, I'll talk about some of the experiences that we've had. The adoption of digital communication, that itself, we thought, or what we experience is not that easy. Right. While we all have those tools, but to make a meaningful dialogue and discussions across with clients, to accept it, and to actually conclude a transaction or a deal with clients has taken time for both sides, for the intermediary, the relationship manager, as well as the clients to accept it. So therefore, the virtual engagement using mixed media has now become, much more accepted, but it has been kind of accelerated in this whole pandemic situation that we went through, or we are still going through. The omni-channel service, I think, has been spoken of in all kinds of banking presentations that you would have been in or I have shared. It is about bringing one point of contact. It's about using, getting these multiple, channels into one, so that we have from a client standpoint, he has a much more smoother transacting journey with the bank. And hence, we have all talked about the physical branches reducing. It's also in the space of wealth management, you're going to see less physical interaction with the client and more digital. So you will see that emerge. And then enhancing, and I think here, something that my colleague, our partner Comarch spoke of, which is real-time delivery of financial information. And this is relevant information, curated information, as I would like to call it. Today there's an information overload, and where does the client get the relevant information he's looking at from his portfolio standpoint and any other interest that he may have, which today we are not able to deliver, at least in the wealth management space, to him in good time and the relevant info that he's looking at. So that's going to be a big, change that we'll all have to adopt and see how digital assistance can be sought to make that happen. Now, this is something that I think lots of institutions, banks have gone through. Some of the challenges that came about, they've called this slide, particularly calling it the pandemic acceleration. We always looked at this pandemic as a form of deceleration in a way, or reducing of business, and people have all seen that. But what has actually accelerated? I think the challenges that we face is sharp change in the client's goals. I mean, there is, when the pandemic broke, and I think when I still discuss and I talk to a lot of clients, the whole mindset change it gave a single point when overnight you had changes in their portfolio or the changes in their risk objectives, return objectives. So there's been that kind of change in goals that one has to adopt to. One has to handhold clients at that point in time. Acceptance of digital services across the generation divide. I think that is something that came about over the last year and a half, where the acceptance, particularly in that space where you do see the generational divide a little more evident, as wealthy individuals generally in their sort of higher age groups find and have not adopted to technology as much as the millennials or the younger age group, and we all know that. So to get them to accept was one. Adopting the digital communication platforms, again, was a challenge at the time, and it is much easier now, where communication has become much more acceptable, and even concluding transactions over digital communication has improved. The functions and processes that rely on physical proximity, I think that's something which was more internal to the bank. We had to adopt, we had to change, we had to make our processes much more digital in nature, paperless in nature, and I think that's sort of a natural evolution, but it has just accelerated. The pandemic just helped us in a way or forced us to accelerate that. So if we talked about the approach, and I'll just maybe talk about one or two of these, which is the processes that we changed are now here to stay. And I don't think anything is going to kind of reverse that. It will continue to evolve, it will continue to become more and more paperless. In that space of wealth management, we still haven't moved. Well, we talk about this, technology assisting us, but as a bank, as an institution, we need to adopt to the fact that it has to become more paperless. Digital account opening in the wealth space, digital transacting. And I look at that as two spectrums, right? While we do high-touch trading kind of products in the wealth space, which is all paperless, digital, and we all have that. But there is advisory and execution based on advisory, which still requires a lot of, intermediate processes and paperwork involved that can easily be done without. And you can make the transactions much, much more smoother through technology, but also looking at the fact that you need to have relevant regulation supporting that. If we looked at now how the focus on the affluent clients and how we as a bank are looking at the future, and at least in the near future, is one is customer experience. And customer experience, the ring fencing relationships, clearly identifying what your client needs, what your client's risk objectives are, and becoming more dynamic in managing those is going to be key. Controlling attrition, again, that's in any business. You need to use data better in order to control that. Looking at, and I think I'm out of time, so enabling the advisor is what I'll just end by saying. That one is, we need to enable the advisors more in this space than just having technology bring in, or technology coming in, or digitizing. By looking at the advisor, giving him the tools, helping the advisor connect with the client digitally more is going to be the way forward, at least in the near future, till we actually move to a stage where we may have a smooth interaction internally and digitally end-to-end with the client. I'll just end by a quote from our CEO, that the bigger the challenge, the more innovative we need to become. And with that, I'll conclude, hand it over back to Comarch, but thank you for giving me the time. Hopefully, this shared some thoughts which will help us build this, the wealth management digital space in the coming future. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Mufazzal, Kajiji.